Week 2 of the NFL preseason has come and go, and Kyle Shanahan did a really weird thing. We're going to talk about that, players that stood out, and a question that I posed on social media. We're going to get into all that and more right here on the Eric Crocker Morning Show. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked up by Eric Crocker over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast. Peace.
Welcome to another episode of the Eric Crocker Show. I'm your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker, and we're discussing all things San Francisco 49ers this morning. But first, I want to thank you all for joining. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and know that this show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Go to underdogfantasy.com or go download the Underdog Fantasy app and use promo code Crocky when they ask, how did you hear about them? All right. So again, use promo code Crocky Underdog Fantasy. We're doing all kind of Underdog Fantasy stuff throughout this season. Can't wait. Can't excited. And hopefully we make some money together. All right. We had a jersey giveaway on Friday. I still got to mail the jersey off. I'm mailing it off today. I'll mail it off today. And Christian McCaffrey autographed jersey given to a lucky fan. Let's go. That's what we're doing here, man. We're trying to shower y'all with things. Of course. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. We got Gabriel with the 5 flames. Feeling good, feeling great. JM617, Mr. O Light in the chat. Let's go. We got the Pluto Lounge with all the holdouts. Kyle was telling Brock, don't get too cocky. Interesting. And that's his take on why the hell Kyle Shanahan did whatever the hell Kyle Shanahan did. Like, what? I can't wait to discuss that. All right. Don't bother me in the chat. 5 flames, feeling good. I think we all feeling good this morning. And I'd say probably everyone. We got Ride Dog in the chat. Says, Croc, did you get your new studio set up? Not yet. I got jerseys on the ground. I got helmet right next to me for no reason. I got accolades. I got pictures and stuff that, I got all kind of stuff I want to end up putting up. I haven't put anything up yet. Why? I don't know. But I'm going to start putting this whole thing together. So, it has a nice little aesthetics to it. I got TVs hanging up right here. Y'all can't see them, but I was actually watching The Act. That's with Gypsy Rose. It's on, I don't even know what it's on. I watch it on my, I have this thing where I got everything. So really good show. Todd says, I'm really looking forward to the breakdown of the young DBs. Let's go. We're going to talk about all of them and more. But I think we got to start with Kyle Shanahan. And I see Brock Purdy trot onto the field. Now, listen, prior to the kickoff of the game, I kind of had the TV on, but I wasn't quite paying attention to it. I'm helping my wife hang these curtains, and I'm not even really focused and paying attention. But I know Brock Purdy's going to play, so I'm assuming, like, okay, you're going to have the starters out there on offense. You're going to have starters out there on defense. Of course, maybe they play a series or two, get guys in the groove, get them in the flow of everything that's going on. And we get to see Brock Purdy throw to Deebo Samuel and George Kittle. You got Kyle Juszczyk out there. I know CMC's hurt, but Juwan Jennings is going to be out there. Found out he's hurt. All right, but you're going to see a lot of the. That's what I was thinking. And we see Brock Purdy take the field. And I'm looking, I'm like, okay, that's not Kyle Juszczyk. That's Braden Willis. Okay, that's not George Kittle. That's like Cam Latu or number 82, Sober, or however is his name. No disrespect. That's not Deebo Samuel. That's Chris Conley. And I'm like, who? And then you already don't have Trent Williams. Who the hell is Kyle Shanahan putting Brock Purdy out there with? And maybe on defense there's going to be some start. Like, there's no defensive starters out there. What the hell is going on? What is going on? Like, in what world, and this is not me, I don't want to be like, y'all know I'm not like clickbaity, hot take, all that. But I'm just thinking, why is Brock Purdy out there with no other like legit starters? He's not throwing to any of his guys. You just want to put him out there to get him reps. Now, I listened and I heard him say something along the lines of, you just want to get reps or with no other starters. It made no sense to me. It made no sense to me. These are guys that are practicing. If you are healthy enough to practice with your quarterback, then I think you are healthy enough to put him out there with some of those guys for a series or two, right? And you got and you've had Juszczyk and George Kittle and all these guys that are practicing. Why are they not out there when you have your, I don't know, starting quarterback out there, the most important player on your team, and you subject him to that? So I can't wait to hear your guys' think pieces on this because I don't know. And maybe somebody else can help me with this. I don't know what Kyle was thinking. I don't know what Kyle was thinking. Now, you want to get him reps, whatever. And Kyle Shanahan, he does a lot of great things. This is not me complaining about Kyle Shanahan, the play caller. This is not me complaining about Kyle Shanahan, the guy that has really done a terrific job of leading the San Francisco 49ers. He's done a great job. But I don't quite understand the logic or thinking behind having Brock out there with none of his guys, especially when you look across the field and the New Orleans Saints have their starters. I'm looking at them like, yeah, that's number 94. Yeah, that's Cameron Jordan. Yeah, that's number 90, whatever Chase Young is. Like, yeah, he's a starter for them, right? Like, I'm looking at him like, that is New Orleans starting defense. And you throw Brock Purdy out there without any of his guys. Someone please make it make sense. We got Big Dez in the chat, and he says Kyle Shanahan doesn't think his quarterbacks are important as the rest of the league. Kyle Shanahan loves his scheme more than anything. Now, listen, Big Dez isn't saying anything wrong here. Again, I've referenced it a couple of times. There's an article, if you go back, and it's like 2017 when he took over the 49ers. And it might have came out 2018, but it was in that time, right? Like the 49ers weren't good yet. And the article alluded to the fact that Kyle Shanahan believes that his system makes the quarterback doesn't make the system. So Big Dez, I think that you are correct in the sense of him maybe overlooking how impactful the loss of his quarterback could be. Because if you just think that, you know what, I'm going to protect my quarterback at all costs, like there are teams that they don't even play their quarterback or their starters at all in the preseason. And not only did he play his starting quarterback, he played his starting quarterback while like not playing any other, like none of his weapons, none of his you had like two like starting offensive linemen from last year. Dominic Puni, I think we expect him to start. We'll see what happens there. But like you don't even have your guys out there. So is it more important to make sure we got to protect George Kittle from himself? Like don't let George Kittle go out there and potentially, get banged up because he plays so hard. So I'm not going to risk George Kittle or Juszczyk or anybody else that could potentially play. But I'm going to risk my starting quarterback, put him behind that line with those weapons that could barely get up in Trent Taylor, right? Against the Saints starting defense. Big Heck, you're right. Big Heck, I got to mail that jersey off today. I'm going to mail it. Don't let me forget. DM me. Like, Croc, don't forget. I won't forget. But he threw Purdy out there and said, go get hit. Like, what are we doing, Kyle? What are we doing? And, a lot of people, they complain about the weapons, guys getting open, lack thereof. And then you see Dobbs come in. The offense is moving. Well, Dobbs isn't going against that first string Saints defense. He did look good. But Dobbs isn't going against that defense. So it was a little weird to me. It was weird. And Tia Ingram in the chat says, do you think Kyle is setting Brock to show he's not worth $60 million next year? That's it. That's it. His scheme and not. That it's his scheme and not Purdy. I don't think he's doing that. I don't think he's doing that because if I were Brock and I was Brock's agent, one, I'm going off of the market and whatever the market says I should get paid anyways. But two, unless you don't expect to have George Kittle around or Debo or, a combination of Debo and Ayuk or some of these young guys and Kyle Juszczyk and Christian McCaffrey, if you're telling me, well, I'm going to be stripped of all those guys and you're just going to not pay any of them or cut them all, and then this is the group I'm going to play with, Trent Taylor and Chris Conley and whoever the hell else they had out there. If you're telling me that, then okay, right? Which I guess it would be a little contradictory because if that's the group I'm going out there with, then shouldn't I get paid even more? But JM617 says conspiracies after a preseason game, not a ball officially back. And I don't even think it's a conspiracy, but I just want to know what was Kyle Shanahan thinking? And that's the title of this YouTube uh, post video. What was Kyle thinking? So I thought that was strange. Hopefully, when people answer in the comments, they can maybe better explain to me why Kyle Shanahan elected to put his like the most important player in this franchise right now out there under those circumstances, because I'm having a hard time understanding it. Now he's out there. Let's talk about what Brock Purdy looked like. I I think a lot of people try to belittle. We're gonna cover all our bases here. A lot of people try to belittle preseason games. They don't matter. Uh, you know, preseason matters for different reasons for a lot of guys. I'd say 70%. Like it doesn't matter for George Kittle. No, does it matter for Brock Purdy? Not a whole lot, right? But there are a lot of players that preseason definitely matters for. Whether it's guys trying to make the roster, guys trying to, figure out different things they can execute, jockeying going on at certain positions. Is this going to be our first cornerback off the bench? Is this going to be our first guy? Hey, a safety, maybe trying to understand his run fits, right? How fast can I trigger? Like just gaining a little bit of experience. So there's going to be a lot of different reasons as to why training camp and preseason is more important for some guys than others. And if I had to guess for Brock Purdy, okay, I'm out there and I don't think it's, oh, well, F it. I don't have my guys out there. Nothing I do matters. If I learned anything about Brock Purdy, he's a very competitive kid and he wants to execute. And this is all guys. Anytime you step on the field, I'm pretty sure if you ask Tom Brady right now, anytime he stepped on the field, he wanted to execute, whether it was the preseason, which they played a lot more in preseason, like the New England Patriots and Tom Brady, even as other teams were playing their starters less, the Patriots were like, no, like Tom Brady was playing a lot. He played a whole first half, right? A lot of it executing, getting in the groove, getting in the flow, right? Getting ready for the season. So Brock Purdy, I'd assume, wanted to go out there and execute. And it is extremely difficult to execute when you don't have your guys. I'm not throwing a Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, CMC, use check. I don't got Trent Williams protecting my blind side. So yes, it's gonna look a little wonky. I think we all could expect that. Uh, is the execution gonna be a little off? I would say 100%. Right? Like I didn't expect it to go smooth and flow. I didn't expect him to be out there with that group. But if he's out there with them, I don't expect this to go well, especially against a starting unit on the other side with the New Orleans Saints who have a good defense. But what I also didn't expect to see was whatever that stupid play was that Brock Purdy did. He, ran, and we've seen him do this. We've seen him do this. And there's been a couple times where I'm like, what the hell was that? Then we saw like one time where it's like, that could have been a really good play, right? Or, oh man, he made a play. Like, this is terrific. I don't think that, I think that as far as practicing good habits. So I coach high school football. Play our first game this week. Can't wait. I'm super excited against Grant Friday, Sacramento. So if you're in Sacramento, come out. All right, but I I don't like when my guys do things that create bad habits. So when they come out, they want to throw the ball around, right? They just want to throw the ball around, play catch. You'll start to see these kids, if you guys have been around kids, especially the high school, even some of the young kids, they all want to try to catch the ball with one hand. Everybody, they want to try to catch the ball with one hand. And I'm always like, unless you're working on like really catching the ball with one hand, right? Where somebody throws it, boom, you try to catch it with one hand. And you're not messing around, cool. But these guys are messing around and all that. And I always tell them, stop. If you're not going to practice good habits, put the damn ball down. All right. We're not out here to create bad habits. If you're not practicing good habits, put the ball down. Put the ball down. I don't want to see you guys create any bad habits. And I think what Brock Purdy did, like you can try to say, well, it's just preseason or whatever, but that was a bad habit. And we talk about practice and training camp and how training camp doesn't matter. And it doesn't, whatever. You can throw as many interceptions as you want. And yeah, throw some interceptions. But don't throw interceptions in practice doing stupid stuff, right? There was a time, I went to a practice and I'm watching him and he's rolling out to his left. Maybe he was sacked, maybe he wasn't, and he throws the ball down the field into like triple coverage. And I'm like, what? That was a terrible decision. Just throw the ball out of bounds. Oh, Crockett, doesn't matter. It's not a game. It's not live. Doesn't matter. He's just giving them a look. Oh, okay. Kind of creating the bad habit a little bit. He gets in the game and he throws it. You don't even have a big, powerful, strong arm. So he's running around and he stops and he does his thing. He does his kind of Doug Flutie impersonation. Then he just chucks it up down the field. I'm like, unless somebody butt naked wide open, why are you throwing that pass? Like, what are you doing? What positives were going to come out? Like, that's not your game. That is not a part of your game. Why is Brock Purdy so good with the 49ers? Brock Purdy is good because he does an amazing job of, one, executing the offense. He's able to drop back, pre-snap read, post-snap read. I think he does a terrific job. He's able to be accurate to different levels of the field. He can make plays with his legs. I like that. But whatever that was, like, that's not what's going to make you good. So don't do it. So again, not playing with his guys, it's like, why is he even out here? The offense not being super smooth, didn't expect that when you don't have your guys out there. But doing things that create bad habits, I would just never be a fan of that. I won't be a fan of that. Appreciate everybody in the chat right now. We're gonna get to some guys that stood out, that did well. I'm going through the chat right now, and again, I don't want people to come. Oh, the sky is falling. Replace Brock Purdy. No, and there is this sense of coddling Brock Purdy from a lot of 49 fan base. We're going to get into this other topic with the Atlanta Falcons, the 49ers scoring in 2019, scoring in 2023 versus the Falcons in 2016. Our Kyle Shanahan led offenses, and just a question, but with the responses, it's very clear that people are like trying to. I'm gonna get to that. I don't even want to give it away too much, but we're gonna get to that. The Pluto Lounge says, yeah, that was some Jimmy G stuff. I don't even think that was Jimmy G stuff. Like, Jimmy G misses, like, he's like, sometimes he would drop back and throw the ball and not see the linebacker. And he'd throw a pick. And did that a lot. Jimmy G will miss a guy like on the move. He'd be rolling out and just miss a guy. He threw a terrible interception to George Kittle in the Packers playoff game where I was like, how did you, like, you're late? And, like, so he would do stuff like that, but I wouldn't categorize that as like just this terrible bad habit decision. It was just kind of, okay, Jimmy did some weird stuff at times, but he was trying to do it within the constructs of the offense. Monte White. So Purdy can't play well against first team unless all are weapons. Listen, Monty, I wouldn't even say that he needs all the weapons, but can I have some of my guys, right? Because realistically, I don't think we'll see a game where he'll go out there and have none of his guys. I don't think we'll see Purdy step on the field and he doesn't have one or two of Debo, Kittle, CMC, Juwan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk, right? Trent Williams, like, all of them won't be out. And I do think it makes a difference. Here we go. We got Chris Roscoe. He says, so explain Bucks, Jags, Commanders, Seattle. Hold on, Chris. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? I'm looking in the chat right now. All right, Chris, you let me know what we're talking about here. So explain plays. Bucks, Jags, Commanders, Seattle. I think he's talking about being able to make plays on the move. That's fine. All right. But there's two things there. Or I'll say one big thing. One, if you move around and a guy is open and you throw to an area where the ball is in the harm way, like let's say the Seattle play where Brock Purdy ran to the right, then ran to the left, then turned around and ran and threw it to Brandon Ayuk. He threw it to a spot where only Brandon Ayuk could catch the ball. It was either going to be Brandon Ayuk catching the ball or nobody. Right? Like he was going to throw it to a spot and it's going to be Ayuk making that play or nobody. What he did the other day, it was reckless and stupid. It's not even something to defend, Chris. It was reckless and stupid. And there's a difference between, man, I roll out. Okay, I'm trying to make a play. Oh, can I make a play? Ooh, there you go right there. Let me throw it into the back of the end zone, see if, you dropped it. Dang, that would have been a great play. As opposed to being reckless. I'm rolling, okay, roll it out left, and I'm just going to heave the ball across the field into triple coverage against with Sobert or whoever the hell he was throwing the ball to. Like, it was bad. That was bad. And that's not to say he can't make plays. That's not to say that Purdy doesn't make plays with legs. But he has done these things sometimes where, like, I remember watching him against the Raiders, and he did something like that. Rolling out, rolling left, and he throws it. And it's not the part of trying to make a play. It's throwing the ball with very low, what is it? High risk, low reward. Very high risk, low reward. Throwing that play. But if you're saying, well, he's a playmaker by nature and you have to live with those things, then all right. Okay. He's a playmaker by nature, you got to live with those things. I would say that if you just tell me, okay, I knew at some point in the game I would get some boneheaded stuff by Jimmy Garoppolo. So if you're telling me that there's just going to be a weird instance where you just question what this guy, like, what was he thinking? But you just kind of have to live with that. And outside of that, he's going to do everything else very well. Then, all right, maybe we know who Brock is. And that's not to say that he's that guy that just did that stupid ass pass. But every once in a while, he might go rogue. And if we have to live with that, then we have to live with that. Because he does a lot of other things very well. Eric Dane says, do me a favor, name 2 starters on the Saints defense real quick without Googling. I said it. Cam Jordan, and Chase Young on the line. Demario Davis. Paulson Adebo. Try to think. Shoot, it sounds like Kool-Aid McKinstry finna start. He was out there with the first group. Ingram says Cam Jordan, the linebacker. Oh, they do got Tyrann Mathieu. They do have Tyrann Mathieu. All right. Appreciate everybody that's in the chat right now. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We got more to talk about here. And then I'll bring up my last question in just a little bit. Just some quick notes that I wrote down with the 49ers. And a guy I kind of really want to talk about. And that is wrote down Tamar. I don't want to talk about him yet. Jacob Cowan. All right, let's discuss Jacob Cowan. First of all, when Jacob Cowan was drafted, when I saw he was drafted by the San Francisco 49ers in the 4th round, I was like, this is my favorite pick, right? So Jacob Cowan was my favorite pick. I coached this kid, Jonah Coleman, 707, high school football, all that, right? Like Jonah since he was in middle school. And Jonah played running back for the Arizona Wildcats last year. And he's transferred to Washington, and he's going to do big things at University of Washington. He left with his coaching staff. But I go to the games to watch my guy, Jonah. And I want to see my guy. And this guy number 2 just keeps popping up. And he's making plays. I'm like, I'm looking at my brother like, hey, who's number 2? And I will watch Jonah on TV. And number 2 would just keep making plays. Now I watch Arizona against USC. And number 2 keeps making plays. And number 2 happened to be Jacob Cowan. So throughout this offseason, I think we were waiting for the 49ers to have one young receiver or anybody step up, right? And everything is earned from Kyle Shanahan, deservedly so. Like, that is the right way to go about it. But I was trying to figure out, like, what is this guy's role going to be? He's missing time in training camp. I went to some practices. I didn't get to see him. And I think another time he was in a blue jersey. All right, but wasn't out there. And I'm like, oh man, like, is it just gonna be Jacob Cowan? Like, we're just not gonna see him, and it's hurt. The Kyle's not gonna trust him. He's not gonna play. You have Ricky Pearsall. He's banged up. I don't think we're gonna see him until potentially week one, right? Start of the season. So we're just not going to see the young guys. Man, I hope, not that I'm wrong. I mean, it's early with Jacob Cowan, but are we going to be able to see him this year? And I came away from this preseason game thinking, if it's not Jawan Jennings in the slot, don't put fucking Trent Taylor out there over Cowan. Don't put there's some other guy, like, that should be, if it's not Jawan Jennings, it should be Jacob Cowan. First, Ronnie Bell, no. And I think they maybe play different positions, but I don't want to see any of those guys in over Jacob Cowan anymore. This is a guy that came in and 4 catches, 50-something yards, had 1 carry, 19 yards. He put on display, as my guy Peacock said, the scouting report. Everything that the scouting report said about Jacob Cowan, like, he put down on display. Hey, man, you want me to look good with returns? You want me to have short hands and catch these punts? I can do that. No need to run Trent Taylor out there like they did last week. Or, hey, I can run all these routes from the slot. I'm getting open. I'm creating separation. No need to put Trent Taylor out there like they did last week and this week. Trent Taylor's out there with Brock Purdy. Maybe if they put Jacob Cowan out there, he'd have a little bit more success. Talking about Brock with the group that he was out there with. So I'm watching him, and he's winning underneath. Boom. Give him the end around. Gets to show that speed to get around the edge. Boom. And then, I don't know, a double move for an explosive game down the right sideline. And it wasn't even just the double move that was the most important or most impressive aspect of it to me. It wasn't even that he, won vertical. The guy has 4.3 speed. I know he can do those things. It's when you have a 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" cornerback on you who actually was beat and kind of recovered well. Maybe the ball slightly underthrown. It's not like he just like super hit him in stride, but whatever. The vertical pushing passes are the lowest percentage throws a quarterback can attempt, especially down the sideline. So you see a guy win, you just want to put him in the spot to give him an opportunity to make a play. And the cornerback, which I teach my guys, if you're beat, go and run and play through the hands. Go play through the hands of the receiver. And Wright, who was beat, recovered enough, good eye discipline, shout out to that. And he goes to play through the hands, and Cowan, who's 5'8", going against, and has to like shield off this 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" cornerback, does a terrific job of really being able to keep his concentration and catch the ball and on the sideline, keep his feet in bounds. Like, to me, that was terrific. It wasn't just, oh man, he won vertically, cool. Man, it was, the concentration, the ability to track that ball in with that tall corner's hand right there, to take the ball away from him, make sure that you get it, right? Catch the ball, just make a play. And if he didn't catch the ball, I don't know how many people would have been like, oh man, last week, Tay Martin, and I'm kind of liking Tay Martin. I see why they keep him around. But last week, Tay Martin had an opportunity to catch a bomb down the field. And I thought that Moore, I keep calling him Moore, Brendan Allen, he threw a really good pass down the right sideline. And Tay had a DB on him, and he went to catch the ball, and he dropped it. The ball came out, whatever, right? And I'm like, those are the plays where I'm not going to say, it's just a flat out drop, but it's the tough plays that separate guys. And when you watch Jacob Cowan catch that ball down the field, it was the tough play that separates guys. Trent Taylor, you had an opportunity to make a tough play and catch in the end zone. You didn't do it. Right? Ronnie Bell, you had several opportunities to make some tough catches over the shoulders, and you didn't do it. The guy that did is Jacob Cowan. So it was great to see a 49er, another young player. I mean, you got Dominique Pooney out there, you got Mustafa out there, you got Green out there, and now you got Jacob Cowan out there, another young rookie player for the 49ers. Do some things where you go, not bad, youngster, not bad. So shout out to Jacob Cowan. I'm excited. Now it's like, all right, you go out there, you do those things, you do the things you're supposed to do. The expectations go up. And now it starts to be like, all right, Are you one of the 5 receivers active on game day? 4 or 5 receivers. Are you one of the 4 or 5 receivers active on game day with a jersey? Because you got a 53-man roster, but I think only 46 suit up. Only 46 suit up. Appreciate everybody that's in here right now. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you like the show, of course. We're talking San Francisco 49ers football preseason. We started with Kyle Shanahan. What the hell was he thinking having Brock Purdy out there with whoever the hell those guys were? None of his guys, and it's just like, yeah, I'm just going to subject him to this, and he's getting hit. Like, come on, man. We talked some Brock Purdy and just kind of what I liked or didn't like about his performance. I don't care that it looked weird, the 3 and outs, whatever. I just didn't like the reckless play, and I would like for him to kind of take that out. Now, you want to be reckless and it's not there, just throw it away. When I say reckless, excuse me. You want to try to make a play and the play isn't there, then throw the ball away. I'm fine. Run around. Oh, not okay. It's not. Let me just throw the ball away. Cool. Leave the play another down. Don't throw it in the double, triple coverage to sober or whoever the hell. Let's have better decision making than that. So I didn't care for that, but everything else, cool. But there is one other thing that I want to talk to. All right, there is one other thing that I want to talk about. Excuse me. Let's see if I can bring this up so you guys can kind of get the full picture of this. Here we go. It's right there for me. Share my screen. All right, here we go. Now, Kyle Shanahan's points per game, regular season versus Super Bowl. We see that there's kind of been this drop off, right? 33.8 points per game with Atlanta in 2016, 21 points in the Super Bowl. And I think that the defense, maybe they scored the other points because I know Falcons had 28. 2019 49ers, they averaged 29.9 points per game, almost 30 points per game, only scored 20 in Super Bowl. 2023 49ers, 28.9 points per game in the regular season, 22 in the Super Bowl, 19 in regulation. So 20, this is like we're going backwards here. 21, 20, 19 in regulation. Not ideal. But my takeaway from this, and this again, not even a takeaway. It was just like, this is interesting. And I'll put mine right here. Wait, 49ers averaged more points per game in 2019 than 2023? Interesting. And the only reason why I said that was because I think people act like the 2020 or 2019 team was just like, I don't even think they had all the all pros and all this stuff, but man, that's an official office. And really my main takeaway from it was, man, Kyle Shanahan, he's a good coach. He's a good offensive coach. And, he's putting up 20, almost 30 points per game with, that roster. Remember, half the season, they didn't even, the receivers that were out there was like, to start the year was Kendrick Bourne, Marquise Goodwin, and rookie Debo Samuel, and Trent Taylor, right? That ain't, and George Kittle, excuse me. Like, that's not a great cast, especially not knowing what Debo will eventually be. Kendrick Bourne, like, those guys are cool, right? Like, they're cool. But it's like, man, it's not the same supporting cast that they have. Now, for him to put up 29, Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, almost 30 points per game, that's pretty damn good. That is pretty damn good. Shout out to Kyle Shanahan. And I feel like you look at the team now, and again, middle of the year, they traded for Emmanuel Sanders. We saw the offense get even a little bit better. Emmanuel Sanders, guy at the end of his career. But I'm like, that's just interesting because of how people talk about it. And the responses. Let's go to them. There's 52. I ain't going to go through all of them. Don't forget the Niners rested everybody. Okay, so here's my thing. A lot of the responses, I'll just jump into what the responses were. The responses, for the most part, were making excuses as to why the 2019 team averaged more points per game than the 2023 team. And I thought that was interesting. I'm like, well, why are they making excuses for it? Why are people making excuses for 2023 team not scoring as many points? Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. But, and all I said was interesting. Don't forget, Niners rested everybody the last week. That 20-point game versus Rams brought the average down. I'm like, what did it bring it down? 0.3 points? Like, can it brought it down that much? The 3-game losing streak kind of threw things off. They scored 17 in 3 straight games, averaged 31 over I'm assuming that's supposed to be rest of the season. Thinking about how the defense was getting off the field. Some people, they threw the Jimmy Garoppolo stuff out there. Also, 49ers sat starters quite a bit. Like, there's all these things that people were saying. One extra game, take away week 18, the starters sat. They averaged 29.4. That's still the lowest of the 3 seasons. Like, there's these defense scored more. Like, there were all these different things, and there were a lot of things about the defense. And I'm like, okay, so there's people, they're like a lot of things about the defense. So interesting. So I had this response to it. I don't even know how to look at let's just go to my page. So I had this to say. Where the heck was it at? Hold on. Oh, here we go. All right, y'all. Y'all had some good responses to as to why the 49ers averaged more points per game in 2019 as opposed to 2023. Most attributed it to a better defense in 2019, getting the ball back, more opportunity to score, and all that. So I said, so now can someone explain to me why the 2016 Falcons scored so much more points than both of the Niners teams with a bottom of the league defense? So again, a lot of people are saying, oh, 49ers played so well because, and again, I don't know. I didn't even think it was that big of a deal, but 52 responses to my original tweet and a lot of making excuses. A lot of it, right? So I'm like, okay, there's a lot of that going on. So why was the Falcons team scoring so many more points, but their defense wasn't good? It was like one of the worst defenses in the league. And then a lot of the responses were, well, they had to score more because the defense wasn't as good. And I'm like, wait a minute. So the 49ers in 2019, they scored more points because the defense was so good. The 49ers the Atlanta Falcons in 2016 had to score more points because the defense wasn't as good. I'm confused. I'm confused. So then we have to go to this. This needs proper analysis to pinpoint strength of schedule, time, possession, etc. And I think, you know what? That's doing too fucking much. It's doing too much. I'll say this. At the end of the day, the Falcons, they had an elite quarterback. 2019, you did not have an elite quarterback that was just going to just pepper teams and strike hella points, put up hella points. Because again, throughout the season, you can say strength of schedule and all that. There's going to be these big explosive games. There's going to be games where you don't score as many points. All right, there's going to be that. And whether it was Falcons, 49, whatever, like you're just going to see that. Okay? So I don't want to hear like strength of schedule and all this. Like Matt Ryan won NFL MVP. That was the biggest difference. The 49ers in 2019 did not have Matt Ryan. The 49ers in 2023, they didn't have Matt Ryan. They didn't have him. That, to me, is the biggest, that's the deciding factor. We can say this, and we can point to this stretch of games. Well, over the second half, they averaged this much, but then they did this. Listen, your average is your average. And for the Atlanta Falcons to average almost 34, 35 points a game, whatever it was, their quarterback was elite. And right now, really what I learned was what they don't like to do, and this kind of attributes to the coddling of Brock Purdy, anything that shows the level of quote unquote success, and they didn't win the Super Bowl, none of these teams did, but anything that shows that from Jimmy Garoppolo or previous 49ers teams, the 49ers feel like that is belittling what Brock Purdy brings to the table, which, Brock Purdy's a damn good quarterback. And in the moment people stop comparing, like, don't compare him to these other guys. Don't compare him to what you think or what the outside people say or what they think or, oh, well, the Steelers fans said that Brock Purdy's not good and he's carried by. Who fucking cares? You got a good quarterback with Brock Purdy. I was able to get to the bottom of this and what they were. At first, I was so confused. But that's what it is. That's what it comes down to. Nobody likes when anybody compares or says anything of Jimmy Garoppolo doing things well to Brock. Like, I feel like I've had to come out and defend Jimmy. I didn't think Jimmy Garoppolo was good like that. There was a tweet, I think I deleted it because it was going too crazy. When the 49ers still had Jimmy G, I tweeted out, I would rather have Taylor Heineke on his contract than pay Jimmy Garoppolo $27 million because I feel like he's replaceable. Like, I don't think he's good like that. Go. He's a cool, good in the 49ers system. Hey, got something that the 49ers players like. They love something about him. Then he left and it's like, oh, he's trash. And the tough thing, and I always say, like, man, that's kind of one of the worst things that could happen for Brock in the sense of how he's perceived by outsiders. And again, who cares? But him, a lot of people felt like, I know I did. Man, he benefits a lot from his team and his roster. I felt that about Jimmy. He benefits a lot from his circumstances. And we saw that. And people were curious to see what it would look like when he goes somewhere else and doesn't quite have that. And now the same arguments are happening about Brock Purdy. Oh, he benefits a lot from his people. He plays well for the 49ers. Brock plays well for the 49ers. Very well. So I think 49er fans would do themselves a big, justice, just not pay attention to the outside noise and pay more attention to how this guy does for the 49ers. And he plays very well for them. He plays very well. Appreciate everybody that's in the chat right now. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. I'm about to go on live with my guy, Ryan G. Hensley. We're going to talk all things more. We're going to dive more into the preseason game. I came on here. I had some thoughts. I wanted to talk about it. Appreciate all 200 plus people that were in here live watching. All right. This in no way is anything I said today a shot at Brock Purdy. I don't think I said anything bad, but I just know like how people take things when it comes to Brock Purdy. It's a little weird at times, but Eric Dane in the chat says Crocky plays well for this version of the 49ers when he's surrounded by Pro Bowlers. If they pay Brock, he won't play at the same level talent around. I'll say this. If the 49ers lose guys, they'll figure out a way to replace someone. And I have a hard time thinking that they'll let the roster just wither away and all of a sudden he won't have any good players. So I think the Brock Purdy that we've seen will consistently see that caliber of a quarterback, which has been a guy that was really good for the 49ers. And I think we'll continue to see that. Appreciate everybody. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We'll be back Wednesday. Until then, I'm out. Peace.